In this final video of Section 6, we're going to prepare our newly built Windows 10 virtual desktop machine for delivery to the end users. So what are we going to learn in this video? First of all, we're going to create a template of the Windows 10 image. This will then be used to create full clone desktops in a persistent desktop pool. Next, we will create a snapshot of the image that will be used to create linked clone desktops from, with the desktops then being part of a non-persistent desktop pool. Finally, we will make just a copy or a clone of the virtual desktop machine, which will be used to create a manual pool. So now we've built our Windows 10 virtual desktop machine. We've installed the OS, VMware tools, we've optimized it, we've installed the Horizon agent, and we've completed our post-optimization tasks. The next step is to prepare the image for delivery. And for delivery, we mean allowing that desktop image to be part of a desktop pool from which we're going to create our multiple desktops from. So we'll have a desktop pool with maybe 100, 500, 1,000 desktops in there, all created from the one image. And to do that, there's several ways of doing it, depending on the technology we're going to use to deliver it, from linked clones, instant clones, or full clones. So as we are going to create an instant clone desktop pool, the first thing we're going to do is create a snapshot, as that's how our instant clone technology works. So to do that, we've logged into our vSphere client, so we can see our virtual desktop machines here. So we're going to click on our Windows 10 Gold image. So this is our master image that we built, the one that's all ready to go. It's got apps, it's got agents, it's got everything in it, and it's now in a state ready where we can create multiple machines from that one image. So we need to create a snapshot for our instant clones, because when we go and build instant clones, it will look for the latest snapshot. So we right click, we're going to snapshots, take a snapshot. Now we see our snapshot manager, our Windows 10 Gold image. So what are we going to call this snapshot? Windows 10 Gold image. Snapshot, we can give it a description. So we could call this parent image, and then we click OK. So that's now going to create a snapshot. We could go and build something else or change that master image, take another snapshot, call it number 2 or whichever, and then we'll have a list of 2 snapshots. So we've kind of built in our own versioning control. So then if something goes wrong with that snapshot, we can easily go back to the other. When we go into our instant clone pool management, we can tell View to pick the other snapshot to build the desktops from. So now we've created that snapshot, we're just going to look at a couple of other options. So the other option is to create a full clone desktop pool, and to do that we would create a template. To create a template, again we go to our Windows 10 Gold image, parent, master machine, whichever you want to call it, and then we're going to select the option for clone. And we are going to clone to a template for this example. So now we'll see our clone virtual machine to template. So we want to give it a name, Windows 10 Gold image template. Where we're going to put that in our PVO data center. Next, put that on our Horizon cluster on our host 131. Next. Now we need to select the storage where it's going to live. So select virtual disk format as the first option. So we can use that as the same as the one we created for the original machine, or we could thin provision, which we will do. So we save storage space. We're going to click our VM data store because that's the one with the amount of storage that it's going to fit on. So we see the compatibility checks succeed. Next to continue, and then we see our ready to complete summary screen. So we're going to provision a clone to a template. We're going to use the Windows 10 Gold image as our source. The template name is called Windows 10 Gold image template. Let's go in our data center folder on host 131 in the VM data store, and we're going to use the same disk storage format. Click finish to complete, and then we'll see that there our Windows 10 Gold image template appears. And then we can use that template to build our virtual desktop machines within our desktop pool. So I mentioned one other option, and perhaps if we wanted to have a manual desktop pool, so we could literally create just a clone of that machine just to use as a standalone VM if you like. To do that, We go back to our parent image, we right click, we clone, and we clone to a virtual machine. So now we can call this name, we'll call it Windows 10 clone. It's going to go in our PVO data center, next to continue. Where's it going to run? In our cluster. On which host? 131 is the host. Click next to continue. Select the storage in where this virtual disk file is going to live. Again, we have the select virtual disk format, so we want to thin provision to save our storage. We're going to put that on our VM data store, so there's not enough space on the data store 1. Next to continue. And now we have the option to customize the operating system. Because this is a new machine, we want to probably change the SID, so the system ID. There might be some other bits and pieces we want to change, maybe join it to a domain, maybe change some other settings. So we could check the box to customize, and then we'll see the customize OS guest. So when you go to the next screen, you can choose customization script that will be on our vCenter server. You could select that to customize the operating system. As an experimental feature, you could customize the virtual machine's hardware. So we click that, go to next. We will see the configure the virtual machine hardware screen pop up. So we could go in there and maybe change the CPUs. So this is the difference between the parent machine. So this will be the parent machine spec. So maybe if you want to give this one some more memory or some more CPU or less even, or add some different hardware, which is why you're cloning it, because you want something slightly different. So we're not going to do that. Or you have the option to power on after the machine's created. If you check that box, then once the machine's created, it will automatically power on. So you could automatically power on and customize and run through that. So we're going to click next to continue. We see the summary screen. So what we're going to do, we're going to clone an existing virtual machine. That existing machine is our Windows 10 Gold image. And we're going to create a new virtual machine called Windows 10 Clone. We're going to put it in our PVO data center folder. It's going to run on the host 131 IP address, stored in the virtual machine data store or VM data store, and use the same disk storage format. When you're happy with that, click Finish, and then that will create our machine. There, our Windows 10 clone. So now we could use that to connect to an individual machine. So now we have successfully completed setup of our machines ready to be provisioned to our end users in our desktop pools. In the next section, we're going to look at how to build Horizon desktop pools that contain the newly built images ready to be delivered to the end users.